So I was in elementary school as a kid again. I was about 10 years old, and I was living through my life just on a different timeline. Like it was a lot different. I have these kind of dreams a lot, and this would be around 2001. So I was just playing around on the playground, and everything seemed pretty normal, except for the kids were a bit out of control. The chaperones didn't really do much about it. And I looked up in the sky and noticed this weird space shuttle up there. It was like something you would see off Stargate, like those Stargate Atlantis space shuttles, maybe 2 or 3 times bigger, but with the same shape. And also, it had these wheels on it. They were thin wheels, except they weren't for like land travel, they were for propulsion. I just, continued playing and stuff. I just didn't think much about it after a while. Eventually, this alarm goes off on the intercom system all around the school, and the space shuttle starts to descend basically at its falling speed. Like it almost seemed like it was crashing, but it was really just descending, and it landed where it was. And it landed about 10 kilometers away from where I was now in the school, maybe a bit less. It was hovering over that point. And apparently these ships are just all around the world governing certain parts of it. That particular ship was fairly close to us, like it was somewhere within transit range, and Nova Scotia's transit is terrible. And actually, in this dream, the transit was really advanced. So these were aliens, of course. This is 2001, and this thing was just hovering effortlessly above our region. I assumed it was aliens as soon as I looked at it. And this alarm goes off when they start descending, like they are a danger to us. And we went inside and we got ready to go home, because we're supposed to go inside when they are descended and, moving around our area, because there's all these different species that we're not familiar with. But I asked a couple teachers about these aliens, and they told me that they are the nicest beings you can ever meet. And then I asked them why we have to go inside our homes then. And the teacher tried to answer this, but then he gave up and he was like, well, that's a good question. I don't really know though. And there was like a couple fairy, like pixie fairy looking animals or creatures. And then there was this one seemingly immobile creature that was a naturally clairvoyant species and can just like read an environment as soon as it's like around that area. Like if you drop it in a neighborhood, it could read what's going on in a couple blocks radius, what's going to happen and what people are thinking and stuff. And then there was this other bipedal or humanoid race, but their entire species was female or one gender. And there were a bunch of other ones, but I don't really remember them. I didn't really write this dream down. And I continued to ask questions about the aliens, and the teacher eventually told me that I could go to one of their planets if I wanted to, and she gave me this electronic ticket thing. And then I headed out of the school, and we were all just walking along the paths in like a single line along the side of the school, getting ready to go home. And there were rations like nearby. They were being stored nearby, like food rations for some reason. And I went into them momentarily and got some Nutella and got back into the line and started eating Nutella as I was going home. Well, I wasn't going home. I was going to the other planet of the alien, because I did take that electronic card, that ticket that allows me to travel to their planet. And I started to head towards this monorail. I ended up on this monorail with my Nutella. It was a very advanced train system, and that took us to the aliens from that space shuttle that will take us to their planet, or one of them will. I assume that they might have species on different planets. I know I had the exact name of the planet for quite a while, for like a day, but then I forgot what it was. I think it's just like a Doctor Who name of some sort, but I don't know. It wasn't really interesting. But I forgot to mention that the teacher, she said that the planet wasn't anything glorious. It was just rock and dust and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't care. I don't have any expectations going on an alien planet. I went over to the where the space shuttle was, where they had all their instruments down and stuff. So like where they were hovering directly over, because this particular space shuttle, it stays in the air. Well, they're all programmed to stay in the air above a certain spot for a while, and then they drop down wherever they were hovering over every couple of weeks, maybe a month, I don't know. But it was a serious event, and we weren't allowed, or we typically weren't allowed out of our houses while they were doing this. I eventually reached the spot where they were landed, and all of these different species were calibrating instruments, like very advanced technology, all around the neighborhood that I was in. And this entire neighborhood was dust and rock. Like, it was really messed up. They basically sapped all the life out of the area with their instruments. And I was eventually taken to their planet, and I was on this elevator system on the outside of a mega structure on their planet, and I was in this translucent cube thing with a lot of other people above and below me, and we were all slowly descending towards the surface of their planet, like we were being unloaded. I couldn't really see much around their planet because of how dusty it was, especially at my altitude, but there was all these mega structures around me that were pretty simple. Didn't really have many details. I can see the human race doing the same thing, just degrading our own planet until it's just rock and like advanced technology and huge structures here and there, but essentially lifeless and just a big old rock. And then going to other planets and doing the same thing to other planets, even though there's other species on them. And that's all for this video. Thanks for listening. See you later.